Hello, once again, I'm happy to be with you with Ask Chuck webcast. We thank you very much for tweeting, emailing, or Facebooking questions to me. I'm going to answer a couple questions that have been sent in very recently, and then the rest of the questions we'll have to answer by mail or email. The first question comes from Jay in Eldridge. Quote, Obama's going to travel U.S. to get Congress to pass his jobs bill. How can he waste our money like this? Well, Jay, if your question is how can he be traveling around the country in this bus that was made in Canada and get by with wasting our taxpayers' money doing that, while it looks like he's campaigning for re-election, which he is doing, he can do it as long as he is talking policy and as long as he isn't appearing at fundraisers in the process or the extent to which he's having strictly political meetings, even though his traveling the country as president is obviously meant to raise his visibility in states that are pretty crucial to his re-election. So federal law allows that. Now, if by chance he would hold a political meeting or a political fundraiser in the process of doing this, then his campaign would have to pay the proportion of the travel's expense from that. And that would be true of Air Force One as well. But what he's doing is legal, even though it's probably not the best use of his time unless he's most concerned about re-election, more so than the good of the country, and that may be where we are in this particular case of his traveling. It's very similar to what he did in Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois back in August. Well, when the president is traveling around Virginia and North Carolina, he's going to be advocating his jobs bill. Now, the jobs bill is exactly like the stimulus bill was 3 years ago. That stimulus bill, as you recall during the debate, had to be passed just as soon as he got sworn in so that we could keep unemployment under 8%. Well, within 1 month, employment went over 8%, and it's never been below 9% since then. And so consequently, I don't like his jobs bill because it's another stimulus bill. It didn't work. What it does is increase taxes long term, but spends the money up front in a 1 year period of time. But quite frankly, it sets the stage for making that spending pretty permanent. And we can't afford that sort of additional spending. We can't afford to raise taxes during a recession because it's going to make the recession worse. The second question comes from Paula, Marshalltown. I am concerned over the fact that our government is in such debt, and yet all I hear about is spending, spending, spending. We have a lot of problems at home to address. Less congressional spending would help. I agree, and I'm involved in 3 committees, Agriculture, Judiciary, and Finance, that are going to be proposing suggestions, and some of them are very specific, some not so specific, that will reduce spending very dramatically. Now, we, under a special provision that was set up, August 2nd legislation, which, by the way, reduced the future spending by $900 billion. This special debt reduction committee was set up, 12 people, 6 Democrats and 6 Republicans, to further reduce that by $1.5 trillion. And that's got to be voted on this fall. So these suggestions go to this committee. This committee has to report to the Congress by Thanksgiving. Then we got the month of December to work on it. But this is set up in a way so that they can't be amended. So whatever this committee comes up with to save the $1.5 trillion has got to be voted up or down by December 23rd. Now, if it's not voted down, then there'll be some automatic across-the-board cuts that would occur to the tune of at least $1 2/10 trillion. So I thank you, Paula and Jay, for your questions. Very pertinent questions for right now at this time of the year. The rest of this week, or starting today and for this week, we'll be working on 3 appropriation bills, but the one that's up immediately is the agricultural appropriation bill. And those 3 appropriation bills will take up most of the time this week. I hope next week, we're not supposed to be in session, but sometimes I say next week we're not supposed to be in session. And if we aren't in session, then I'm going to be in Iowa holding a lot of meetings. But I said for the July 4th period, we weren't going to be in session, and we were called back into session for that week. If we aren't in session next week, then it'll be 2 weeks from now. I'll have another Ask Chuck webcast, and I ask for your tweeting, emailing, and Facebooking in questions. Thank you.